couldn't possibly still be here, could they?
He returns!
Oh, fuck. Paul.
Come on in, brother. Make yourself comfortable. Mi casa es su casa.
Okay, I'll commend you on using the formal su, but this is definitely not tu casa. What are you still doing here?
Just hold down the fort for you, buddy. I was getting worried when you didn't come back. Oh, and since you were gone for so long, I ate all your food before it expired. Nothing worse than coming onto a fridge full of rotten food.
It's been less than a day. So where's your better half?
All right, Elsa. Well, see that large Elsa-shaped hole in your wall?
Oh, shit.
She took off in search of more Fruit Loops once she'd finished devouring what you had left here. That woman loves those sugary discs.
Who would have picked that?
Come on, dude. Sit down and watch this with me.
Ah, fuck it, why not?
Here. Get that in here.
Cheers, mate. So what are we watching?
Pleasure, dude. We're watching Pontypool.
Pontypool. Sounds interesting.
No, it's Pontypool.
Oh, right, sorry. Pontypool. Pontypool. Pontypool.
That'll teach you. Lock me in a vault, will ya? Boo! Welcome to Into the Minds of Madness. I'm your host, Mr. Paul McWhirter. Sitting next to me is your expert, Mr. Chris Dicker. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, Paul. How are you?
I feel a little bit strange after what we just watched. It was,
Bit shooken up?
yeah, a little bit shook up. Yeah, it was. We just watched Pontypool.
We did.
What year did this come out?
I want to say 2007.
Yeah, so it
We'll
wasn't.
confirm it later.
Yeah, we'll confirm that. It'll be in the episode title.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian production.
Yep.
Which ties into a lot of the language that comes into it.
Yeah, very neatly.
Yeah, very neatly,
Yeah.
in a really nice way. Do you want to give us a synopsis?
Yeah, all right. So basically, we're following the morning shift.
The morning radio show.
Yeah, the morning radio show. We're watching our main protagonist, radio host Grant Mazzy.
What a cowboy.
Yeah, he's a bit out of place in this town, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
It kind of.
I feel like there was a bit of allusion to him maybe moving to Pontypool. He was at a bigger place.
I believe so. Yeah, he fires his manager.
Yes.
Yeah, on the way to work.
On this morning.
Yes.
Yes.
This dark, cold, awful morning. As
Yeah.
they describe.
Some of those monologues of
They're so close to chat and cheesiness.
yeah, but they toe the line really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just held it back. Even we'll get on to the doctor soon and all that.
Yeah.
Basically, his morning is going as normal until he's interrupted by this strange woman banging on his window, and she's not making any sense, and he can't hear her, and this shook him up, and you then follow him up going through his morning procedure. Talking to his, what would you call her?
The engineer.
Engineer,
I would call
yeah.
her, yeah.
What was the name?
The button pusher. Laurel Ann.
Laurel Ann.
And
And then we also meet his producer, Sydney
Sydney
Breyer.
Sydney Breyer, yeah.
So yeah, we follow Grant as he heads into work at his radio station, the 660 CLSY.
The Beacon.
The Beacon. Such a great name.
Perfect name. So good.
And yeah, we first meet Laurel Ann, the young, I guess, button pusher engineer.
And she's just returned from Afghanistan.
Yeah, we find that out soon. Yeah, we I was surprised. I didn't quite expect that as a character trait from her.
Yeah, I feel like she was kind of like a comms officer or something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I think that was alluded to at one point in there.
Yeah, the way she reacted to things and was able to, like, there was a moment of a French message coming across and she was able to translate it.
And and did it straight away. And like she was, whenever a call came through, she was always answering the phone.
Yeah.
If it never seemed to shake her up. Like,
No.
that was shock, just like, what's going on?
Mm.
But she was able to act
Yeah.
straight away, kind of thing.
Yeah. And she's just nice too.
Yeah,
She's just
yeah.
a nice little
She
bit of sweetness added to
hands
it.
him that bottle of Glenfiddich at the start. Like,
Yeah.
you got me the good stuff. Like, yeah, so great, so great.
And yeah, so like Grant is the host of this local Pontypool's local radio station.
Yeah, I guess the local talkback radio station.
Yeah, the news, the school closures, things such like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he things go as normal. He starts talking about his altercation with this woman, and from then on, things just start to escalate. Things start to get weirder, and yeah, without really spoiling it, it's best to kind of leave it there and let's talk about like our favorite points, like what's the moments that stood out.
That's what I was going to say. Just to add on to that, like at the start as well, I loved the to and fro between him and his producer.
Yeah,
like,
that was pretty cool.
Obviously they'd only just been put together, and she was like, "Well, I've been told he's great. I don't know that yet. Like he's hard to work with and blah blah blah." And
yeah,
in the end, he really is a bit of a mad genius.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you think he's as you said mad, but there's a method in there. Like
he knows his way around the English language very well.
Oh yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yep. He enjoys his time.
Yes, and I guess that's what comes down to it in this movie as well, is the English language. That's what starts infecting people.
Yeah, it's such an interesting premise.
Yeah, it really was.
What is causing people to make no sense and act strangely is that the English language is infected. It's a zombie movie in a way.
In a way.
Degree.
In a way.
But it's really refreshing take on infection.
Yeah, it was really cool, and the good thing was it wasn't like a specific word.
No.
Either. It's almost like if somebody started obsessing over a certain word and about what it means, they would start being infected by that word in a way.
Yeah, like
it was almost just sending them mad.
It was kind of like
itself. And it was just the English language too.
And it was very basic kind of words. Words you wouldn't really second guess.
Exactly.
You just know them, and then it's such a clever idea that if you do start rethinking that, you're like, fuck, what does this actually mean? Where does this come from?
And there was a little bit of allusion to it in the intro, where he's telling a monologue that the producer, the engineer actually says as he walks in, "Hey, I really liked your monologue this morning,"
We're discussing like what Pontypool the word means.
And he broke it down.
Yeah.
Gave different definitions of it in different places.
Yep.
There's a helicopter flying over us right now. There is allusions to helicopters in this movie, actually. A fair few, actually.
The helicopter.
Yeah.
So, what was his name? Ken Loney in the Sunshine Chopper.
Let's go through Ken's, arc in this movie.
Okay.
Because like I told you when the movie was happening, I felt really weird about it at the end.
Oh, yeah.
There was something about Ken. So, Ken Loney in the Sunshine Chopper who gives the traffic. In the end, you find out that he's actually just in his Dodge Charger.
Yeah, well, this was...
Or the Dodge Chopper.
I liked how they did that, too. It was to prove to... Because Grant, at this point, is trying to go full big-time radio, like he's like Howard Stern or something like that.
Yeah.
That old shock jock kind of thing.
Yep.
And to bring him down, Sydney, his producer, tells him the secret that there is no chopper.
Yep.
It's actually a Dodge Charger, and he plays sound effects.
Yes.
As we are right now.
Yeah, I swear that's a sound effect. We'll just power through it.
Yes.
Yeah. I like a bit of background noise every now and then. Oh, man, they're really hovering. Anyway, we do have the jail just near us, so there's probably an escapee.
But yeah, the chopper, the Dodge Charger, and that just brought him down.
Yeah, I really liked Ken. I really liked him at the start when he's talking to him on the phone for the first time. He's like, "How is it out there? It's got to be pretty dangerous in that storm." And he's like, "Yep, I'm up here." Anyway,
he's just kind of like this like innocent kind of man-child at the beginning.
Yeah,
He's doing his job.
Yeah, and you do speak to him a couple times. He's probably the first one that who gives them like any kind of on ground information.
Yeah, true.
He was the one who was at the doctor's office, and
Yes.
so this is the first time we hear about anything that there's any problem.
Oh no, just before that there was they intercepted the 911
off the police radio.
Yeah, so that kind of something's happening.
But you don't really understand anything until you hear Ken. He's pretty much in the parking lot.
Yeah,
and he's
then he sees it.
Yeah, and he sees all these people pretty much rushing in to a doctor's office.
Yeah, I believe it was like people were exploding out of the office.
Yeah,
like there were so many.
Yeah, there was a like scramble and there was trampling and I guess they don't really go into too much detail of actually what happened. Like they don't really explain like the exploding out of the office kind of thing. I didn't really understand it.
I was like basically the premise of this like the setting of this movie. It's almost like a bottle episode. Like it's mostly set in the booth. Like we're following them doing the show and not seeing the outside world at all. When I heard that, I'm like, God, I would have loved to have seen just bodies flying out of it.
Yeah,
but it's almost like reading a book. I've got my own image of that now.
Yeah, and there's no flashing away from them to give you any kind of illusion to what's happening.
You're seeing their story.
Yeah, they're finding out as soon as you are.
Yeah.
So Ken Loney, after the doctor's office incident,
yes,
he drives away. Some of the roads are blocked. He somehow gets away and hides in a silo.
Yeah,
and he sees a van pull up, and he sees people grab the family out of it, and
a pack of people.
Yeah, and pretty much just ate them.
Yeah, and he described them as bloody and some were naked, and they were just.
And it was they were like fish being fed.
Piranha, he described. Yeah,
a piranha. Yeah,
a pack of piranha feasting.
Yeah, yeah, and they were just rabid.
Yeah, he even said they pulled them out by their mouths, like to a degree. Like they brought them to the ground, like while still biting them.
Yeah.
So it was instant.
It's and so, but you never really see any of that kind of stuff, which is cool. Like this movie wasn't very gory.
No. I think that adds to works in its favor.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. Yeah, there is a bit of blood, a fair bit of blood.
Yeah.
And injury. But nothing too over the top. Nothing.
Yeah, like there's no moment of them all of a sudden whipping out a shotgun and blowing them away.
Yeah,
and it's like, there's none of that heroic moment.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and
this would have ruined this movie if that happened.
I think so too. I think so too.
There was a couple of moments near the end where I'm thinking, oh God, they're actually gonna fight their way out. I was losing interest.
Yeah, because you've never seen them wield a weapon, like
God no.
And there's been no allusion to that at all.
Yeah.
In the lead up, so there's just no point. But yeah, and then Ken Loney, when they're like, oh well, Ken's dead, they just decide.
He's before he got into he's seen these people in the van, seen this awful thing happen. He's reporting on it, and he all of a sudden is panicking and realizes that one of them has seen him and is charging at him. And
ends up like pretty much just barreling into the side of the silo.
Yeah,
and just breaking himself.
Yeah, it was very again a moment I really wanted to see, but it was like he had no hands, so that's what he was describing. Like his hands had been chopped off.
Yeah.
But then his entire body is broken, and so he's then in that scene.
Yeah,
stuck with this guy in the silo.
And that's where he finds that he's still alive and he's mumbling something. Yeah, you never really hear what he's saying, but it's one thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
And that's the first allusion to the fact that it's this one word that's sending him crazy.
Yeah. I think that's when they in the booth hear that. That's when they kind of realize, oh, it's as you said, it's a single word. And then
for some reason, it's what takes Ken Loney over the edge is I need to get a sample. Do you guys have a sample?
Yeah, I think he meant to say
sample.
He meant to say symptom, I believe.
Yeah, he went to say it's a symptom of the disease, or a symptom of the hysteria.
Yeah,
and the doctor says, "I think you mean symptom," and he goes, "Sample."
Because he said,
"Do you have
sample.
a sample? Do you guys have a sample? Sample?" And then that's what sent him over the edge. And then they had to say goodbye to him. And Sydney starts bawling about it. She'd known him for 17 years. Like,
oh yeah, that was this is the point you were bringing up. They built it up as such a
sad,
sad, sweet.
And I was really sad as well, and I was blown away by how well they made me care about Ken.
We didn't. Yeah, we never saw Ken.
Yeah, like him,
just a voice,
and he was just a go-getter.
Yeah,
like sound effects in his car, pretending to be a chopper, like working hard.
The old Dodge chopper.
Yeah, the Dodge chopper, and as soon as he dies, I'm getting a bit teary because I'm getting into this.
Yeah,
movie.
I feel it, man. Yeah, definitely.
I was getting into this movie, and then they're still on the air, and she pretty much does an obituary for him, and Grant's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry about your friend.
You're pretty close.
He was a good friend to you, right? Like he almost went to try and say something good about him, but he didn't know what. So he's like, he was a good friend to you, right?" And she just broke down. She's like, "He was a pedophile. Well, not really a pedophile, but just somebody who I wouldn't let my kids near." And I was just like, you just fucking ruined that.
Yeah.
You ruined that moment. Like, there was nothing necessary to be said about, like...
I think...
Like, I cared about the character enough, like, unless you... Like, I don't know. There was just no reason for it. There was absolutely no reason for it.
I saw that scene as there was a couple of moments where they pulled off a good, dark joke. And I think this was an attempt. And it fucking fell flat on its face.
Yeah, okay.
Because it invested way too much into him, way too much, and then to just drop that he's a pedophile.
And when they did that, like I was totally taken by this movie up until that point, and that just took me out of it.
Yeah, for that brief moment, it's like, there's the flaw.
Yeah, and it really quite bothered me. I mean, I was able to get back into the movie after that, but that kind of bothered me a bit, and that was about halfway in.
Yeah.
And by this stage, our good friend the Doctor has arrived.
Yes, Dr. John Mendes.
Dr. John Mendes entering through the window.
Yeah.
And just out of nowhere. That was a really strange way to introduce him.
That took me for like a second to like be into him. Like, this is just too handy.
Yeah, and I almost thought he was going to be like a comic relief character. And it's like there's already a bit of comedy in this already with just like some of his monologues and just the way that they act and stuff like that.
Definitely.
So yeah, it kind of put me off a bit when he arrived.
But it took a while to really sink in and get used to him.
Yeah.
Because it did kind of, as I said, like there's a bit of almost camp acting in this movie.
Yeah.
It's so close to being camp with some of these male leads.
Yeah.
But he just holds it together, and he was a valuable character. And like I said to you,
and he arrives right at the time when Laurel Ann is just starting to lose it.
Missing was her word.
Missing. That's
missing,
it.
Missing.
I can't miss Grant.
Yeah,
Grant. I can't miss Mr. Mazzy. Can't miss Mr.
That's
Mazzy.
right. It was Mr.
Can't
Mazzy.
miss Miss Mazzy.
And then
it's missing. I'm missing. He's missing. I've got to find Mr. Mazzy.
The boiling kettle.
The boiling kettle goes off again.
And then the kettle's going. Sydney takes it off the pot, and it's still whistling. You turn the corner,
and then it's Laurel Ann who's hitting that exact note.
Yep.
That the kettle was
head
doing.
On like a slant, eyes looking nowhere. Fucking horrifying.
And that when Sydney's distracted by that, that's when the Doctor comes in the window.
Yeah.
Strangest entrance, and especially because it's at that point when you're like, oh shit, it's starting to happen to Laurel Ann.
Yeah.
And then he comes in and he's just like, oh shit, she's not well. Anyway, like,
let's get
just don't
that's
talk
safety.
To her. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
Let's just keep moving. Don't talk to her. Let's keep moving. And then they go, and then they're like, oh, is that booth soundproof? We got to go in there. And he just somehow knows like everything about.
Yeah.
Well, not everything yet, but enough to be like, I come bearing news from the outside world. Like, and pretty much filled the audience in on as much as he possibly could.
Yeah, he mentioned that, like how he's been dealing with these cases all day. So he's been like firsthand watching this disease or whatever it be manifest.
Yeah.
And so I identified with him way too much. I was like, I would be that guy where it's just like, no, fuck that. That person's gone. Let's get inside right fucking now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I am the kind of guy, if in a zombie apocalypse, there's no Walking Dead situation. I am lone wolfing that shit. Like, if you're in my way, I'll chop you down. Those are my fucking biscuits.
Remind me of that when that goes down. All right.
You won't know.
Yeah. Well, So he arrives and they go in the soundproof booth, and this is when Laurel Ann really starts losing it.
Yeah, I was going to mention when you're speaking uncomfortable moments, this one got you.
This one made me uncomfortable.
I fucking loved it and relished every second of it. So the premise with the Now Infected is that they're hunting for sound. They're hunting us, but they're following our sound and repeating everything that they hear. And it's, as the doctor says, it's the host. I think it's the host fighting back, trying to kill. It's the creature. Its way of keeping it hasn't come into reality yet. This was a really confusing.
That's right. Yeah. It was really So the doctor starts. So as she starts running herself into the sound booth, the glass of the sound booth.
Yeah, she's wandering around hunting for sound because she can't hear anything now, and she stands at the door watching them for a while
and tries to get in. She's like, I don't miss Mr. Mazzy anymore. I don't miss Mr. Mazzy anymore. She's trying to get in. They're like, no, like, just had to, like, the doctor wouldn't let her come in.
And there was that moment of then he's like, no, you just gotta let her wait. She won't be able to hear us. And then she just snapped. She just stopped. And walked away, and gave him like a little sneer and kept going. But it wasn't until she returned later on. She was all bloody in the mouth and all that. One of them mentions that she looks like she's been trying to eat something, and Sydney was disgusted by the thought of that. But then we finally see what it is that's causing her to bleed and her lips to be ripped apart and all that. I don't know if it was the police radio or whatever it was someone was still talking on it.
Yeah.
And she was biting into the electrical equipment and getting shocked and bloody and I loved it.
She could hear them from the other side.
Yeah, it's never explained how.
How she could hear and why she started doing that. But she started running herself into the soundproof booth glass.
Yeah, and that was heavy. She was smacking her head against that.
Yeah,
thing.
that was. You had to
look away for it.
Yeah, I just had to be like, oh, just made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Like I did see a couple of the hits and it did look really good. It was. I think that's why it just looks so realistic.
It's doing
just like how fucking hard she's hitting.
It's doing a good job if it makes you turn away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I had a little giggle when you were turning away and she's banging away and you're like, oh my god, is that still her head? And
she's banging him so hard,
but it's her hands. She was just going with her hands.
Yeah, just like, and I was like, oh my god, is she smashing her head that quickly? Like, is she going that crazy?
Yeah,
as well. Like, I wasn't sure. Yeah, and as she starts pounding her head against the soundproof thing, the doctor says, I know it's really hard for you guys, but this is fascinating, and just like pops himself a pill and just like it's popcorn.
Yeah, he's just
so strange. Yeah,
he's taking it all in. But soon after that, our poor friend Laurel Ann, she succumbs to this infection.
Yeah,
and it's almost like the body, her own body, and the thing didn't work together, and she starts making all weird sorts of weird noises.
And by this stage, her like mouth is completely ripped to shreds. Like
it's all swollen.
It's all swollen, and like that looked pretty fucking great. Like they did that really well.
And I've seen,
and not over the top either. It was just enough,
enough to be disturbing. Yeah. And I know I've seen too many gory movies and zombie movies to know, because I picked a vomit scene the second she started doing it.
Yeah,
and it was a good vomit scene. There was some fucking chunks in that motherfucker. She covered the entire goddamn glass. That was all. She died from vomiting. What an awful way to go.
Yeah, because they kept going back to her. I thought she was gonna rise up.
Me too. I thought she was breathing at one
wasn't
stage.
done yet. Yeah, which was very strange. But I liked that they kept like going back to it to kind of like
make us uneasy still.
Yeah,
keep you on your toes.
It still made me very uneasy. Yeah. So and at this stage, this is when, breathe is the word that the doctor.
Oh yeah, the doctor's starting to show signs now. Yeah. And he's realised it's a word.
Yeah, and he starts speaking. Is he speaking? He's not speaking French. Is he speaking German?
I think he speaks a bunch of languages.
Yeah, I feel like he cycled through a lot of stuff. Because I definitely heard some German in there.
That was after this. He first started after Laurel Ann died, but then more people that are infected start coming inside, and that's when they're kind of having a little breakdown.
That's right. Yeah.
Did they? Yeah, at this stage, all the banging on the window, on the glass, and all that.
This is a great moment too. They can't talk.
They can't talk,
and they're using texters and scribbling to each other
with just notepads.
with just this ominous music, just that hum
just
kind
slowly,
of thing, and this like incessant banging, and you just hear over the top of this.
Yeah, the scratch of a big fat texture on paper.
I loved that.
Yeah.
They did that. I really enjoyed that sound effect.
It added to the suspense.
It added to it, didn't it?
It's just like, hurry up, respond.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was awesome. They did that really well.
I liked what they were talking about in that scene. They were like,
discussing what they should broadcast on the outside speaker.
Yeah, and at first it was SOS. Help us, stuff like that.
And then it was Grant. Then they decided Grant suggests.
Yeah, he comes
Sydney
through.
Briar is alive.
Yeah, a really nice moment.
Yeah. I thought that too. Like, because you could tell. Like, I know that they're at each other's throats and stuff like that, and I don't think they've known each other for that long.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I think that was like, and because Grant's a cowboy, he's a fucking hard ass, but he does really mean well.
Yeah,
he really does mean well, and he is a nice dude. Like. And Laura Land saw that in him as well. Like he's a blowhard. Well, he's very arrogant, but he's a fucking good dude.
He made Valentine's cards for them.
And then, oh man, that bit was heartbreaking too. When Laura Land's banging her head on the thing
she's
and
about to go and
forgets
her
Valentine's card is still sitting there. He never got to give it to her, but she gave him the bottle of Glenfiddich.
Yeah.
So like, it's almost like he just couldn't do that one last little nice thing for her.
That was a nice human.
Moment.
Yeah. And then Sydney just straight away jumps in. It's like, oh my god, I forgot to thank you.
Yeah.
Because you did see the two kind of joking about it beforehand.
Yeah.
They were kind of knocking it off a little bit.
Yeah, and she was like, look, fucking Grant got everybody Valentine's cards. Yeah.
Like, nah, Grant's a good dude.
Yeah, he means well. He definitely means well. I really like it.
I feel like Grant is a bloke from success who's not doing that great anymore.
Yeah, and he's still arrogant, and he's still kind of got that, like, oh, I should be a star kind of thing attitude, but he still is a nice dude kind of thing. Like, I feel like I might be giving him a little bit more credit than I should, but yeah, I really like the actor as well. He was cool. I just really like. And at the start, I wasn't sure if his acting was good or not. But
yeah, I agree with you at that point.
It ended up warming on me.
As soon as he got in that booth, and Grant Mazzy came out.
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah, it was just that car section, and there were a couple little moments that I was just like, oh, that's a bit off. But he warmed on me so quickly.
Yeah. As did all the characters, really. I didn't find any moment of like, oh, this person just get infected now, or anything like that.
Yeah, in that sense, yeah, I kind of didn't really like Dr. Mendez too much at the start.
Yeah?
At the start, when he first arrived, I didn't really like him that much. And wait, let's also talk about the way he leaves as well.
Oh, yep.
He leaves the way he comes in.
Yeah, he's got an aversion to doors, man. He
doesn't like
fond
doors.
of 'em.
He left out the same window. Yeah. Like, he was starting to go nuts. They ran into the utility closet, like, which is pretty big, and
he has a massive closet.
They close it up. They lock it down, and Dr. Mendez runs up and grabs himself a tool. What is it? It's pretty much just a
I think he got
club wrench kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it was just a simple wrench.
And they were just waiting for him to attack, and then he said something in a different language.
Yeah, because at this stage he's realised it's only the English language that's
affected. So everybody knows this by this stage. This is just as they're about to escape the sound room after they broadcast Sydney Pryor is alive, and he says a word. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what he said.
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
It sounded like he kind of said weapon.
Yeah, maybe.
But they seemed to calm down after it. Like, I'm not sure.
I think it was the way he did it. It was very and just kept walking. Like, he had no interest in them after that.
Yeah.
And then he just headed
straight for the window and fucking straight back out.
Survival of the fittest.
And I'm pretty sure as soon as he left, though, I'm pretty sure that you could hear him yelling, "Sydney Pryor is alive."
Okay.
Yeah, like, because there was a group, you could hear different voices, but I'm pretty sure that you heard Dr. Mendez's voice say it twice or three times.
I wouldn't be
like
surprised
in the maelstrom of the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. So, and by this stage, this is how Grant starts understanding. Using the word understanding, because that's the word that he finds to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's from listening to the BBC report.
Well, earlier on, like once there was that police report they reported on, and there was the good old friend Ken in the Dodge chopper calls up reporting the horrific events happening at Dr. Mendez's practice, and
they get a call from a BBC reporter.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get anything official yet, and all of a sudden, I can't remember his name.
I think it's Nigel Healy. I think
Nigel Healy from the BBC is calling up,
and they're like, "Oh, well, we've got broadcaster Grant Mazzy on the line, the one who broke the story. What can you tell us about it?" And he thinks it's like a terrorist separatist movement kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And like he at some stage he says understanding, and it was almost like a blue filter went over the screen.
A little bit, yeah. So this is Grant in the utility closet, like now with Sydney, as Sydney's getting drunk, and he's sitting there re-listening to the interview, and he says understand and understanding a lot in it, and it just triggers Grant, and sets him off. He's like understanding the words, and it goes back to the monologue at the very start,
and like, he remembers
where he breaks down the word, like the name of the name of the town, Pontypool.
He remembers as a kid saying a word over and over again if he was afraid of something, and eventually it wouldn't make any sense.
It lost meaning. It lost absolute meaning to him.
And then Sydney starts showing signs of infection when she
starts saying kill.
Yeah, because we'll finish this because we've got to talk about who she killed. But yeah, so she's distraught by the fact that she had to kill this person. And she starts saying it. So Grant realizes at this point and kind of grabs her and is desperately trying to figure out like the word. How does to make her not understand it? And what did he land on again? Kill means kiss.
Kill means kiss.
And that's what finally made her stop. And because of the choice of word, it got a nice little cheesy line of "kill me now," and they start kissing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice cheesy little end to that
bit. It was kind of a bit weird. I don't like that kind of shit just getting thrown in. Like it wasn't really romance though, which was good. It was just like we're gonna fucking die, and she was drinking his Glenfiddich, so she was getting smashed. So she just started talking as well. It's like we got to stop talking. They start speaking in French a little bit before that.
Yeah.
Just because.
Well, she starts it, but once she gets drunk,
she starts speaking English.
Yeah, she's starting to lose it a little bit.
That's when she starts losing it. Kiss means kill. Then they escape the utility room.
Yes. Yep. And Grant's got it in his head.
Yeah, that he's going to broadcast a way to cure, because he just cured Sydney pretty much. He starts blabbering on, saying stuff like.
He's
it was like a word. It was like a word association thing. It was like when I say this word, you say a different word to make it mean that the complete other thing.
Yeah.
So it means nothing anymore.
And he had the greatest of intentions, but even Sydney's like, it can't work.
Yeah,
it only worked on her.
He kept getting jumbled up.
Yep.
And at this stage, you hear helicopters outside, and there's
dust falling down.
Yeah, they're
rubble.
Gunning people down. They end up hearing a French voice over a loudspeaker saying, "Is Sydney Brier still alive?"
They ignore it.
They ignore it. They say, "Stop the broadcast! Stop the broadcast!" And then after Grant kind of hits a bit of a roll.
Yeah, you got in this huge moment.
And Sydney's just tearing up, and then he just ends up saying, "Good night, Pontypool," pretty much.
No, it was this isn't the end of the world. It's the end of the day.
It's the end of the day. Today you just got up, you did this stuff, and
tomorrow we'll be back again.
Yeah,
it was.
And pretty much says, "Good night, Pontypool," and then as soon as he stops the broadcast, the countdown starts.
Yeah, all the gunfire stops. There's no more screaming or anything like that, and then the countdown.
Yeah.
And then she runs in and,
grabs him,
start kissing, and then
and then 0 done. The next thing we hear is just people going on with their day the next day.
Yeah, all the news reports going on. And
and there's even a woman who says, I got stuck on it, and then it just seemed to pass. I'm gonna go for a walk and take my dog.
Yeah.
Everything's back to normal.
There was a good line that stood out in that that ending to me. It was just before he jumped in the booth, and Sydney's trying to talk him out of going on the air, and what does he say? Sydney, we've been playing fucking muzak. Do we really want to provide a genocide with elevator music?
Yes. Soundtrack a genocide.
Yeah,
with
that's so
elevator
good.
music.
I love
Sydney,
that.
we've been playing fucking muzak while people die out there. I'm not Do you really want to soundtrack a genocide with elevator music?
Oh,
That was fucking.
that was outstanding. That really stood out for me.
That was really good. That blew me away.
And
So yeah,
well, speaking of other standout moments, they had before everything went to shit. They had some guests appear on the radio show.
oh my god, this is
the cast
painful.
of the local adaptation of Lawrence of Arabia. Holy moly! This is a small town, isn't it? So we have 5. There was 4 cast. One, I guess, what do you call them? Master of ceremonies.
A conductor.
Conductor. That's the one. Yeah, and there's 2 little girls, Bedouin girls, huge apostrophes, just 2 white girls, blackface.
Browned up.
Oh my god, they browned them up. I can't believe they did that.
I know that like I could tell that there was an
So
awareness
funny.
to it being racist in the film, but it wasn't clear enough. Like
It was a shock.
it was a real shock.
I like that. If it was anywhere else, it would have been super offensive because they would have been like, "Oh, isn't this funny?" But I feel like this is a small town. We know small towns. They're a few decades behind in some views.
Yeah, there was. I feel, the filmmakers were definitely aware, but I wish they'd kind of made it obvious that it was like that it shouldn't have been there, that it shouldn't have been right. I just don't think they made it obvious enough.
I didn't notice a Lawrence of Arabia, but I did notice an Osama bin Laden in the cast.
Yeah, and he literally ends up like he's got a toy gun.
He's got a toy gun.
As well, and shoots it in
he's
the
got
air.
his camouflage jacket. He's got his turban,
it's-
his fake beard, and a slight bit of. It was thick.
Yeah,
Brown face.
yeah, it was
Oh, that was just took me by surprise. They sing this awful song.
It was just another thing that just it was just another thing that just kind of took me out of it, like the pedophile joke. Like there was a few things
That's
in
what
this
I mean.
that
They
were in
like-
bad taste, like and they just weren't clear enough on the intentions behind them.
Attempts of really dark humor.
Yeah, and but there wasn't a joke in them. There wasn't a joke.
Well, I think that
You know
was
what I
the
mean?
joke. It was Grant saying it. He's having his agent called him.
Oh yeah,
during
and being
this.
like, oh yeah,
Hey, listen to this.
yeah, listen to these Bedouins.
Yeah.
these little Bedouin girls. Yeah, and
So like,
but yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like it was clear enough. You know, they were going for that. They were going for laughs.
I
and
could
it
see
ended up being
that.
really cheap.
Yeah.
It's like, and there was not really anything funny about it.
Well, one of the Bedouin girls scares the fuck out of us later on.
Yeah, she as they're heading into the utility closet, pretty much.
Yeah, they're slowly moving their way through the building and heading down the hallway, and Sydney's got ahead. She turns around, looks at Grant, and Grant's moving past. And there's the Bedouin girl sitting in a chair. And I liked that it was fully lit as well. It wasn't like some dark, scary hallway.
Yeah.
You just saw it all, and she's got blood coming out of her mouth and all that sort
And
of
she
stuff.
just turns around and says, "Grant, run now."
Yeah, and there's really like scary little girl, gravelly
And then
voice.
and she says, "Run." Sydney says, "Grant, run now." And the little girl looks at Sydney and says, "Grant, run now!"
Yeah.
And just and it's fucking Sydney that needs to run because she comes straight at Sydney. Yeah, because she's the one who said something.
Yeah, it's who she heard.
Yeah. So Grant pulls her off, and they're just sitting, just like healing into
man.
her, just pummeling the absolute fucking Christ
They
out
American History X, that
of her.
bitch.
Oh, dude, it was insane.
Oh.
That was crazy.
And I like that little moment when they're trying to decide if they're gonna kill Dr. Mendez.
Yeah.
And like they're like, no, you killed the girl.
And they're speaking in French.
French. She's like, we, no.
No.
Yeah, I really like that back and forth. Like, no, you killed her. Like,
Yeah.
no, you killed her.
Yeah, and then he's like, "All right, I killed her." And he's like, "So if I killed the girl, then you got to kill the doctor." And she's like, "Fuck that!"
yeah,
Like, and he's
are you
like,
serious? No.
and then he's just like, "All right, fine. If he tries to attack us, I'll just fucking." And then all the lights just go out.
So So I did like there were, to break it up, there was some attempts at humor. Some of it failed really bad, but some of it hit just nicely.
Yeah.
I can't really say too much bad about this movie, though. The one thing,
I can the bad taste stuff.
Apart from what we've already addressed. I'm not forgiving brown face or anything like that. That's a bit too far, I think. But the one thing that really bugs me in anything that does it is CG blood. I hate CG blood. I understand in the hallway scene where they kill the Bedouin girl, because I guess they couldn't get permission to, because that shit stains. Like they probably weren't allowed to use blood on that set there. But there's a moment where I can't remember who cuts their hand. I think Sydney cuts her hand or something.
Yeah.
And she's got a bloody finger. CG blood.
Yeah, and he's holding her hand, like trying to almost stem the blood and.
But then you have a scene where like a
weird.
chick is vomiting up blood and guts. Like, how can you not have a dab of blood?
Yeah.
It was like, that's shit. You see it on Walking Dead and just about any action movie now with lots of shooting and shit. It's just. So, on that note, I think we've cut. Oh, soundtrack. Soundtrack was amazing. It accompanied it throughout like the entire thing.
Yeah. But
just
the muzak as well. Well done.
Everything.
Good effort. Yeah.
It just held you. It really. We felt gripped in this movie.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. That was only the second one we've watched, and that's one you haven't seen. So.
Yeah, that was.
So
awesome.
I was a bit anxious about going into it because I wasn't sure if there was going to be many jump scares or anything like that.
Yeah.
They make me fucking super anxious. So there weren't really any jump scares in that. It made me anxious because it's a good movie, but not in a crazy. Cheap suspenseful kind of way. I just got into the story.
Yeah, it was a good story.
It was very compelling. I'm very happy we watched that.
Do we want to start doing a rating in a way? Do we I'm thinking. I was just thinking. Would you recommend it, or would you rewatch it, or would you just never watch it again?
I'd rewatch it. Like for a lot of the monologues and stuff like that. That was really interesting writing and performing.
Yeah, like there was one good one.
I'd probably watch it mainly for that.
Yeah. Like another example of Grant Mazzy's greatness. Fuck the Wire, we got eyes.
Yeah, fuck the Wire, we've got eyes. Yeah, so good.
So yeah,
thanks, Grant Mazzy.
Yeah, thanks, man. Like, I have recommended it. I've watched it again. I've watched it now. I'll probably watch it again. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic film.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed it.
Well, we're going to dive into something different next time.
Oh, mate. I'm so excited. You cannot. It's a shame we're an audio-based medium because I'm jumping up and down. We're watching Razorback.
Yeah, I'm excited about this movie.
This is just such just great Aussie, so close to Ozploitation.
Yeah,
weird director, weird visuals, fantastic. There's a fucking killer pig.
Sick. I'm excited.
In the outback.
I'm really pumped for that movie. I was terrified of Pontypool and I really liked it, and I'm excited about Razorback, and I'm just going to get the shit scared out of me. I bet you.
No way.
I bet you.
If you see that pig, you're not going to get scared.
Okay. All right, sweet. All right. Well, thanks, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. Yeah, sweet. So we'll see you next time for Razorback.
Indeed. Please come back.
Yes, please do. Please listen to us next time.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for getting to the end. Much appreciated.
All right.
Rest in horror.
Rest in horror.
Thank you so much for listening to Into the Minds of Madness. That was Pontypool episode 2. Next up is Razorback.
Indeed.
And thank you to Gay Paris for theme songing it on.
Huge thank you.
Ash Wednesday Boudoir Party. Triple J on Earth. Go get it. We got a Facebook page as well, Into the Minds of Madness. At ItMumpod. ITMOMPOD.
Instagram on the way.
Yeah, that's getting started.
I'll get up on that one soon.
We'll get there. Doesn't matter. We got a Twitter too. When I just tweeted one thing. Well, we got it.
We do.
itmumpod@gmail.com as well if you want to talk to us. I don't know why you would, but come to nice. You've been listening to us this whole time, so why the fuck not?
Thanks again for listening, and join us next week for the classic Razorback.
Fucking on you, mate.